Day 1. Your muscles and brain receive an immediate signal. You sit down to your breakfast. 2 eggs, scrambled, poached, boiled, however you enjoy them. And within the first hour of eating them, your body has already begun to respond in ways that are more immediate and more significant than most people realize. Let us start with protein, because this is where the story of eggs begins for most people. 2 large eggs contain approximately 12 to 14 grams of high-quality protein, but the number alone does not tell you the whole story. What matters just as much as the quantity of protein is the quality. Specifically, how well the protein your body receives matches the protein your body actually needs. Protein quality is measured by something called the amino acid profile. Your body uses 20 amino acids to build and repair virtually every structure it contains: muscles, organs, enzymes, hormones, immune cells, and more. 9 of these amino acids are considered essential, meaning your body cannot produce them on its own and must obtain them from food. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids in proportions that are extraordinarily well suited to human biology. In fact, for decades, nutritional scientists used eggs as the gold standard against which all other protein sources were measured. On day 1, within an hour of eating your 2 eggs, your digestive system has broken that protein down into its individual amino acids. These amino acids have entered your bloodstream and are being distributed to wherever your body needs them most. For adults over 65, one of the most critical destinations is muscle tissue. As we age, a process called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass, becomes one of the most significant threats to independence and quality of life. Research consistently shows that older adults need more protein per pound of body weight than younger adults to maintain muscle, and that the timing of protein intake, particularly at breakfast, matters significantly. Eating high-quality protein early in the day helps stimulate muscle protein synthesis, the biological process by which your body builds and repairs muscle fibers. On day 1, your muscles are receiving exactly the kind of amino acid signal they need. The process of muscle protein synthesis is being activated, and while you will not see or feel any change today, the biological instruction has been given. But protein is only part of what is happening on day 1, because eggs also contain something that does not get nearly enough attention: a nutrient called choline. Choline is found in the egg yolk, and 2 eggs provide a substantial portion of the daily amount that adults need. Choline is essential for the production of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, one of the most important chemical messengers in your brain. Acetylcholine is involved in memory, learning, attention, and muscle control. It is also one of the neurotransmitters that tends to decline with age, and its decline is associated with the kinds of cognitive changes that many older adults notice and worry about. On day 1, the choline from your 2 eggs is being absorbed in your small intestine and transported to your liver, where it begins the process of conversion into acetylcholine and other essential compounds. Your brain is receiving the raw material it needs to maintain one of its most important communication systems. This is happening before you have even finished your morning coffee. Day 2. Your liver has a conversation with your cholesterol. By the second morning, you eat your eggs again. And this is the day we need to talk honestly about the subject that has caused more confusion about eggs than anything else: cholesterol. 2 eggs contain approximately 370 milligrams of dietary cholesterol. For years, this number was the center of the debate. And for years, many people were told and genuinely believed that eating eggs would raise their blood cholesterol and increase their heart disease risk. Here is what the science actually shows. Your liver produces cholesterol every single day. It produces it because cholesterol is essential. Your body uses it to build cell membranes, to produce hormones including estrogen and testosterone, to make vitamin D, and to synthesize bile acids that help you digest fat. Cholesterol is not a poison. It is a substance your body manufactures and depends on. Here is the part that most people were never told. When you consume dietary cholesterol, cholesterol from food, your liver responds by adjusting how much it produces on its own. For most people, when cholesterol intake from food goes up, the liver produces less. When cholesterol intake goes down, the liver produces more. The body maintains a careful equilibrium. This is why large-scale studies examining the relationship between egg consumption and cardiovascular outcomes have produced a far more nuanced picture than the simple warnings of previous decades suggested. For the majority of healthy adults, eating 1 to 2 eggs per day does not significantly raise LDL cholesterol, the type associated with cardiovascular risk. In fact, eggs consistently raise HDL cholesterol, the type associated with cardiovascular protection. There is a group of people, sometimes called hyper-responders, for whom dietary cholesterol does raise LDL more significantly. If you have been told by your doctor that you are particularly sensitive to dietary cholesterol, or if you have familial hypercholesterolemia, this conversation deserves more personalized attention with your healthcare provider. But for most people, by day 2, your liver is doing exactly what it is designed to do, adjusting its own cholesterol production in response to what you have consumed, and in the process, maintaining a balance that is more favorable than many people expect. Day 3, your eyes begin to benefit. By the third morning, something is happening that connects eggs to a part of your health that most people would never think to associate with breakfast: your eyesight. Egg yolks are one of the richest dietary sources of two compounds called lutein and zeaxanthin. These are carotenoids, natural pigments found in plants and certain animal products, and they accumulate in a very specific and very important location inside your eye called the macula. The macula is the small central region of your retina that is responsible for sharp, detailed vision, the kind you use for reading, recognizing faces, and seeing fine detail. As we age, the macula can become vulnerable to a condition called age-related macular degeneration, which is one of the leading causes of vision loss in adults over 65. Lutein and zeaxanthin act as a kind of natural filter and antioxidant shield within the macula. They absorb damaging blue light before it can harm the delicate photoreceptor cells beneath, and they neutralize the free radicals that accumulate in eye tissue from years of light exposure. What makes lutein and zeaxanthin from eggs particularly valuable is not just their presence, but their bioavailability, the ease with which your body can absorb and use them. Because these compounds are fat-soluble, they are absorbed far more efficiently when consumed alongside dietary fat. And egg yolks, which contain both the lutein and zeaxanthin and the fat needed to absorb them, deliver these nutrients in a package that is essentially optimized for absorption. By day 3, measurable amounts of lutein and zeaxanthin from your eggs are making their way into your bloodstream and beginning the process of accumulating in your macular tissue. Research suggests that consistent egg consumption over time is associated with significantly higher macular pigment density, essentially a thicker and more protective layer of these pigments in exactly the part of your eye most vulnerable to age-related damage. You will not notice a change in your vision after 3 days. These protective effects build slowly over weeks, months, and years of consistent intake. But day 3 is the day the foundation of that protection is being actively laid. Day 4, your energy and metabolism find a new rhythm. By the fourth morning, something has shifted in how your body manages energy throughout the day, and it connects to the way eggs affect your metabolism and your appetite in ways that go beyond simple calorie counting. Let us talk about what happens to your blood sugar when you eat 2 eggs for breakfast compared to what happens when you eat a typical carbohydrate-heavy morning meal. Eggs contain virtually no carbohydrates. This means that when you eat them, your blood sugar does not spike. There is no sharp rise in glucose, followed by the crash that can leave you feeling tired and hungry again well before lunchtime. Instead, the protein and fat in your eggs create a slow, stable release of energy that your body can draw on over several hours. Research on protein and satiety, the feeling of fullness, consistently shows that high-protein breakfasts lead to reduced hunger and fewer calories consumed later in the day compared to lower-protein breakfasts. Protein stimulates the release of hormones like peptide Y and GLP-1, which signal to your brain that you are satisfied. It also suppresses the production of ghrelin, sometimes called the hunger hormone, for a longer period than carbohydrates do. By day 4, if you have been eating your 2 eggs faithfully every morning, You may notice that your appetite feels more stable throughout the day. The mid-morning hunger that might have sent you looking for a snack is less insistent. The energy dip that sometimes arrives in the early afternoon may be less pronounced. These are not imagined changes. They are the direct result of how your metabolism is responding to a consistent, high-protein, low-carbohydrate morning meal. For adults over 65, this metabolic stability is particularly valuable. Blood sugar regulation becomes more challenging with age, and anything that helps smooth out the peaks and valleys of daily glucose levels supports not just energy, but also long-term metabolic health. There is something else happening on day 4 that connects to metabolism in a different way. Eggs are one of very few foods that contain meaningful amounts of vitamin D. Specifically, it is found in the yolk. Many older adults are deficient in vitamin D, which plays a role in calcium absorption, bone health, immune function, and muscle strength. By day 4, your body has been receiving a small but consistent contribution of vitamin D from your daily eggs. This is not enough to correct a significant deficiency on its own, but as part of a broader nutritional picture, it adds up. Day 5, your brain deepens its response to choline. We spoke about choline on day 1, the nutrient in egg yolks that supports acetylcholine production in the brain. By day 5, we need to return to choline because its effects have had enough time to begin showing in a more meaningful way. Acetylcholine is not the only reason choline matters for brain health. Choline is also essential for the structural integrity of brain cell membranes. Every neuron in your brain, and you have approximately 86 billion of them, is surrounded by a membrane made partly of a phospholipid called phosphatidylcholine. This membrane controls what enters and exits the cell, helps conduct electrical signals, and plays a role in how neurons communicate with one another. As we age, the maintenance of these membranes becomes increasingly important. Research suggests that adequate choline intake is associated with better cognitive performance, better memory recall, and a reduced risk of cognitive decline over time. Studies examining populations with higher dietary choline intake have found associations with better performance on tests of verbal memory and processing speed. By day 5, your brain has received 5 consecutive mornings of choline from your eggs. The raw material for acetylcholine production is more plentiful. The phosphatidylcholine available for membrane maintenance is more consistently supplied. This does not produce a dramatic change that you will notice by Thursday morning, but the cumulative effect of consistent choline intake over weeks and months is one of the most well-supported nutritional strategies for supporting cognitive health in older adults. There is one more brain-relevant nutrient in eggs that deserves mention on day 5. A collection of B vitamins, particularly B12 and folate, both found in meaningful amounts in eggs. Vitamin B12 is essential for the maintenance of the myelin sheath, the protective coating around nerve fibers that allows electrical signals to travel quickly and efficiently. B12 deficiency is remarkably common in adults over 65, partly because the ability to absorb B12 from food decreases with age as stomach acid production declines. By day 5, your daily eggs have been providing a reliable source of B12 in a form that is relatively well absorbed. For anyone who has been subtly low in B12 without knowing it, this consistent daily input can begin to make a noticeable difference in energy, nerve function, and mental clarity. Day 6. Your muscles show the accumulation. By the 6th day, the protein your body has been receiving every morning has had enough time to produce effects that go beyond the immediate post-meal window of muscle protein synthesis. Let us talk about what has been happening in your muscles across the week. Each morning, when the amino acids from your eggs entered your bloodstream, your body directed them toward muscle tissue that needed repair and maintenance. This is an ongoing process. Your muscles are constantly being broken down slightly through the activities of daily living and constantly being rebuilt using the amino acids you provide through food. The balance between breakdown and rebuilding determines whether you are gaining muscle, maintaining muscle, or losing it. For adults over 65, this balance is particularly important and particularly challenging to maintain. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass, is driven partly by a reduced anabolic response to protein. In simpler terms, older muscles are less efficient at responding to the protein signal. They require more protein than younger muscles to achieve the same rate of synthesis. This is why adequate protein intake is one of the most critical nutritional priorities for older adults. By day 6, 6 mornings of consistent, high-quality protein have been maintaining a positive stimulus for muscle protein synthesis. You will not see dramatic muscle growth in 6 days. That is not how muscle physiology works. But what you may notice, particularly if you have been relatively low in protein intake before this week, is a subtle change in how your body feels. Perhaps a sense of slightly more physical capability, a little more steadiness, a sense of solidity that is difficult to articulate, but that many people report when their protein intake improves. Something else is happening on day 6 that connects muscle health to a surprising nutrient in eggs: selenium. Eggs are a meaningful source of selenium, a trace mineral that acts as a powerful antioxidant inside muscle cells. During the normal process of energy production, muscles generate free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage cell structures if not neutralized. Selenium, as a component of antioxidant enzymes like glutathione peroxidase, helps neutralize these free radicals inside muscle tissue. By day 6, your muscles have been receiving consistent selenium support, a small but meaningful contribution to their long-term health and function. Day 7, your body tells a complete story. The 7th morning. 2 eggs, just as you have had every morning this week. And as you sit with your breakfast, it is worth taking a moment to appreciate the full picture of what has happened inside your body over the past 7 days. On day 1, your muscles received a precise and complete amino acid signal, all 9 essential amino acids, in proportions your body was designed to use. Your brain received choline, the raw material for one of its most important neurotransmitters. The machinery of muscle protein synthesis was activated before your morning was half over. On day 2, your liver engaged with the dietary cholesterol from your eggs in exactly the way it was designed to, adjusting its own production to maintain balance, and in doing so, producing a cholesterol profile that research shows is for most people quite favorable. Your HDL, the protective form, received a boost. On day 3, lutein and zeaxanthin from your egg yolks began making their way to your macula, the most vulnerable and most critical part of your eye. The antioxidant shield that protects your central vision began to be reinforced. On day 4, your metabolism settled into a more stable rhythm. Blood sugar remained steady through the morning. Hunger signals were quieter and more manageable. The afternoon energy dip was less pronounced. Your body received vitamin D, a nutrient that a significant proportion of older adults are quietly deficient in. On day 5, your brain deepened its response to consistent choline intake. Acetylcholine production was better supported. Neuronal membrane maintenance received the phosphatidylcholine it needed. B12 was being delivered reliably, supporting myelin and nerve function in ways that matter profoundly for cognitive health and energy. On day 6, the cumulative protein stimulus across the week had produced a meaningful ongoing signal for muscle maintenance. Selenium was supporting antioxidant defense inside muscle cells. The balance between muscle breakdown and rebuilding had tilted in a favorable direction. And now on day 7, something important has happened beyond any single nutrient or any single organ. Your body has been consistently nourished with a food that addresses multiple areas of aging simultaneously: muscle, brain, eye, metabolism, liver, nerve function, in a form that is affordable, accessible, and remarkably easy to prepare. There is a reason that nutritional scientists, when asked to identify the single most nutrient-dense, complete whole foods available, so consistently place eggs near the very top of the list. It is not marketing. It is not nostalgia. It is the accumulated weight of research showing that eggs are one of the rare foods that genuinely does many important things at once. 7 days of 2 eggs every morning will not transform your health overnight. But 7 days is enough time for your body to show you, clearly and measurably, that it is responding in exactly the ways the science predicts. And if you continue past 7 days, each of these effects deepens and compounds. A few practical notes before we finish. Since we have covered what eggs do inside your body, let me share a few practical thoughts about how to get the most from them. How you cook your eggs matters more than many people realize. Boiling or poaching eggs preserves the most nutritional value because the yolk remains intact and the cooking temperature is relatively gentle. Scrambling is also excellent. Frying in excessive amounts of oil or butter adds calories and fat that may not be desirable for everyone. A small amount of a healthy fat like olive oil is perfectly fine. The yolk is not the enemy. Please do not discard it. The yolk is where virtually all of the choline, lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin D, B12, and healthy fats are found. Eating only the egg white gives you protein and almost nothing else from this list. The whole egg is the package that evolution and nutrition science both support. If cholesterol is a specific concern for you, if your doctor has told you that you are particularly sensitive to dietary cholesterol, or if you have a condition that requires you to manage it carefully, please have this specific conversation with your healthcare provider before changing your egg intake. Most people do not fall into this category, but some do, and personalized guidance matters. Eggs from hens that are pasture raised or that have been fed omega-3 enriched feed tend to have a meaningfully better nutritional profile, particularly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D than eggs from conventional factory farmed hens. If your budget and availability allow, this is a worthwhile distinction to be aware of. And finally, 2 eggs in the morning is a starting point, not a ceiling or a rule. Some people find that 1 egg is enough. Some enjoy 3. The research generally supports 1 to 2 eggs per day as the range where benefits are clear and concerns are minimal for most healthy adults. As always, your own body and your own healthcare provider's guidance are the most important factors. Final summary: 7 days, 2 eggs every morning. And from the very first breakfast, a cascade of nutritional signals that touches your muscles, your brain, your eyes, your metabolism, your liver, your nerve function, and your long-term protection against some of the most common challenges of aging. Eggs are not magic, but they may be one of the most complete, most affordable, and most underappreciated nutritional tools available to older adults. Not because of any single nutrient, but because of how many essential nutrients they contain, how bioavailable those nutrients are, and how perfectly the package is suited to the specific needs of the aging body. 2 eggs every morning, 7 days to begin seeing why.